Hey everyone, hopefully you are comfortable with polynomials now because we're going to divide them today. So let's just talk about division real fast. Let's remember how to actually divide two numbers. So if I said, what's 95 divided by 4? You'd set up something that looks like this, figure out how many times 4 goes into 9, right? Multiply it out, subtract down, bring that 5 down. Now ask yourself, how many times does 4 go into 15? Right, you've seen this before. And hopefully you remember some of the vocab that's associated with this, that 3 is a remainder and 23 is called the dividend. 3 is the remainder because 4 doesn't go into 3 anymore. So that's how you know where to stop. And we're going to do something very similar with polynomials. There are two ways you can write this result. One of them is that 93 is 23 times 4 plus a remainder of 3, right? Or you could divide everything by 4. And show that 95 divided by 4 is 23 plus 3 over 4. That 3 remains over 4. That's why it's called the remainder. You could also write this as 23 3/4 or 23.75, but I don't like that 23 3/4 without, any kind of plus in between them. So let's just write it like 23.75. So anyways, I hope you enjoyed that little bit of nostalgia. Let's do this with polynomials. Let's take some polynomial and divide it by another polynomial. It's going to be the same idea. We're going to ask ourselves, how many times does x go into 2x squared? Let's just look at that portion. You probably know that 2x times x gives you 2x squared. So there you have it. Now you just have to multiply the 2x and subtract. All right, seemed pretty easy so far. Let's do that subtraction over here. Don't forget that you have to distribute the negative, probably the most common thing that people miss. What do we end up with? 3x. So where do we put that? Here we go, bring down the minus 1. Great, everything's going well. Now we need to ask, what do we multiply x by to get 3x? Well, it's going to be 3, right? So multiply that out. Make sure you multiply everything, distribute the negative sign. There we have it. Now ask yourself, what do we multiply x by to get negative 4? You might think, oh, if I multiply it by negative 4 divided by x, then the x will cancel out and I'll get negative 4. However, we're working with polynomials, so we're only going to be looking at powers of x that are positive integers or constants themselves. So actually at this point we're going to stop. And negative 4 is going to be our remainder. And 2x plus 3 is what's called our dividend. So what we can do is we can write out what we just accomplished, just as before, and we can also divide out the x plus 1 by everything to show what 2x squared plus 5x minus 1 divided by x plus 1 is. So it's that dividend plus the remainder. And again, the remainder is going to remain divided by the x plus 1. So I hope that process seemed very similar to just dividing numbers. It is actually exactly the same process, but it'll take a little bit of practice to get good at it. So I would like you to try this one out. And then see if you can figure out how it's related to the factorization of x squared minus 1.